Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Was it true that he had hard hands? Always pictured him hungry with a gun in his hand, dirty boots and a steel frame.
Good morning, Jason Keith here, jasonkeith.com, K-E-A-T-H. Second vlog number 2. Every time I get interviewed, whether it's by a blogger or a newspaper journalist, TV journalist, whether it's randomly ad hoc at a conference, 99% of the time, usually the last question is, what's next? What's the next big thing? What's going to replace Facebook? What's going to replace Twitter? The next technology to surpass microblogging as the buzz term? Of course I don't know. Of course nobody knows. What the question really comes down to is two things. Bow chicka wow wow. What companies do I think are going to succeed in overtaking the Facebooks and the Twitter or competing with them? Where am I going to spend my time over the coming year? I've got a lot of answers to this question. I'm going to focus on one right now. WordPress. It's the #1 content management system for websites. It's the #1 blogging platform. An open source blogging community. The software behind that is developed by volunteers. It's developed by the largest development community behind any piece of open source software. And because of that, innovation is very rich within the WordPress space. You know, you have your kings of the land right now. You have Google and Facebook who innovate and do some very cool things, but they are making decisions to innovate. They are buying personnel to innovate. Now focus. With WordPress, the innovation is happening more organically. It's coming from a community. When a problem is seen by someone that knows how to fix it, hey, I need a plugin for my Google Calendar that does X, Y, and Z. Their typical embed does not do that. Let's fix that. Go past that. WordPress has launched their own open source video player, VideoPress. That is massive, massive, massive. The video player marketplace is growing very rapidly, and having an open source video player that can solve many of the problems that people have with other video players is huge, huge. They've also launched BuddyPress, which is social networking form of WordPress. So you can take your blog, you can take your home base, your social media home base online, and you can turn that into a social network. So where a blog more or less can be a community, can be a social network to an extent with the comments, bringing all kinds of content together, it's not a social network. There's not necessarily profiles for people. There's not necessarily ability for individuals, a part of that community, to message each other very easily. There's not groups that can form very easily. A lot of these, you can get plugins on WordPress, you can do things, but it's never been cohesive. BuddyPress is that cohesion. It is turning your WordPress blog home into a social network. That, my friends, is a game changer. Do it. Once BuddyPress gets the development community of WordPress behind it more fully, and it is fleshed out as a better tool, it is going to be massive. It won't be used by everyone, but it will allow the people that can use it, that are savvy enough to recognize the power that it has, to take their blog, take their community to the next level. WordPress is constantly innovating, and to me, they're going to become a bigger driver of change online than they have been in the past. Two things recently they've done. The P2 Prologue WordPress theme. So you don't have to remember any of that. There's a link in the description of the video if you want to follow it. More or less what it does, simply, it turns your blog into a microblog so that you can have users come in. It's not going to be blog posts, you know, this is what I did today, here's my video, here's my blog. It's going to be short Twitter-style updates. WordPress uses it internally. Great post in the description from Matt on how WordPress uses it and how it's changed what they do. URL shorteners. WP.me just got released, I believe last month. VideoPress, that is massive by WordPress as a URL shortener for any WordPress.com blog. We'll also be able to use it on any WordPress self-hosted blog. So what does that mean? The URL shortening game is getting very weird. The main one I use, Trim, tr.im, has failed. They're out of business. The main two players in the short URLs are TinyURL, the original, that Twitter more or less embraced originally, and then Bitly, bit.ly, which has gotten major funding. Twitter has embraced them. They are the major URL shortener. They've got tracking behind it and everything. Great service. But there's one problem with URL shorteners. There's no way to know who's going to be there tomorrow. If you start depending on these short URLs for sending through email, sending through Twitter, however you use them, starting to depend on them, they could be gone next year and that URL breaks. The URL shorteners that are going to survive are the ones with authority and the ones with staying power that you can trust for a long time. WordPress as a business, I believe, has been around since 2003. So why is WP.me important? Because they're trusted. So WP.me will only exist for WordPress sites. That's an automatic trust level. WordPress is pretty good about monitoring the safety of WordPress sites. It's not 100%, but it's a lot better than anything else out there. A lot of URL shorteners are getting blocked. Spammers are taking advantage of them. So it's a very interesting game. WordPress coming in with this more trusted URL shortener, even though it's limited content. There are a lot of major media companies that use WordPress.com as their blogging platform, as their website management tool. So that's a very big play by them. It's a very cool innovation. It's another example of why WordPress is a big part of what's next in social media. Let's bring it back. They are and will be even more so a major driving force in social media in years to come. So that's it. Jason Keith, jasonkeith.com, Keath, at JAK Rose. Now focus.